and we're talking about Warhammer. So over the summer, I got in contact with a old friend of mine. We're talking back in the day, like elementary school, grade school friend. You know, grade 5, grade 6, grade 7. And back in the day, we used to play Warhammer. We used to really get into Warhammer, Warhammer 40K, Warhammer Fantasy, all the Warhammer stuff. Yeah, we were all about that. But of course, you know, time goes on, and some people drop the hobby, drop the games, move on to other things, get into girls, whatever, get into life stuff, getting into being an adult, whatever the case may be. And I kind of stuck around for longer into college, but even I kind of moved on to other things as well. And in recent years, I've been slowly getting back into the hobby of Warhammer, at least in terms of painting. Sorry, guys. In terms of painting the models, in terms of playing the games just a little bit, but also other related hobbies, related games like miniature games, board games, painting those things too. And of course Gundam and Gunpla as well, getting back into that hobby. It's all related. And of course I've been streaming, I've been making YouTube videos, I've been posting my progress with all of this stuff on Instagram. My longtime friend, we'll call him Mr. J. Mr. J got in touch with me through email, through Twitter, or Instagram. It was like, hey, I've been seeing your videos on YouTube. It's really cool that you're keeping up with the hobby. I've got a lot of Warhammer stuff, you know, from when we were kids. Is this something that you might be interested in having? Because, you know, like it's not doing me any good, and I think that you would appreciate it more, you know? And I was like, wow, like, that's so cool. Like, thanks for getting in contact with me. Like, hey, I'll take that stuff off of your hands. But of course, we don't live close to each other. We don't live very close to each other anymore. That's just how it works. It's been many years, and people move and evolve and do other things with their lives, right? So we had to have an intermediary. We had to have our friend in common, Bacon, and all of you know Bacon too. Bacon had to grab that stuff for me and just hold on to it, because again, like, he just wasn't too keen on having it anymore, right? Taking up space in his house, and he just realized that, you know, it would be appreciated more if I had it. Well, Bacon held on to it for the better part of the summer, until such a time came where I could pick it up, and that time was yesterday. Finally, I was like, hey, Bacon. He actually mentioned it like the other day or something, like, hey, Ipo, I've got that stuff, don't forget. Time for the reveal, Bacon. Yeah, don't forget, I've got all that stuff. And I was like, well, I'm gonna talk to you about it, because I do have I do have an opportunity to come into town, so let's meet up and do it. And so amidst all of that stuff that I had been showing earlier, the fact that I finally found the Gym Sniper K9 after so many years, looking forward to finally building that after picking up what is now like the biggest Mecha Musume kit, the biggest model kit, period. Certainly the biggest box and the most expensive one. Amidst all of those things, which are quite noteworthy, I feel like this haul, all of this stuff for free from my longtime childhood friend, all this stuff he just kindly gave to me for free. This is the real haul. This is the real special thing, even amidst all of those other things, which were really quite special. And so I can't actually show you the bag, but he basically gave me this gigantic bag. Is this your bag, Bacon? This Halloween bag, or was that provided by our friend here? I can't show this on screen because it's just a gigantic bag. But I'm gonna go through all the little things, all the things here from that bag. And this is all Oldhammer stuff. That's his bag. That's funny because it's Halloween. and then Halloween just passed. So here we go. Here's the first thing. First, Van Cleef Arpels, Paris. And you know, when you're kids, even when you're a teenager, you want the models, but you don't have a really great way of storing it. You don't have a great way of organizing all your stuff. So you just find the best box that you have. And what's inside, guys? There it is, the first reveal of Oldhammer stuff. I looked at one box. I haven't looked at any of the boxes except for this one box because like I'm too curious. I really need to know what's inside here. But let's just crack open one. And so these are Beastmen, Chaos Beastmen, and some people call these Oldhammer, some people call them Middle Hammer. Generally speaking, let's just call it Oldhammer because they're definitely old. These are from the 90s, possibly older than some of the people here in the chat. And these are cast in metal. These are cast in pewter, white lead, some people call it. And this is from the Chaos Beastmen army, and they're called Ungors. These are specifically Ungors. And Ungors are kind of like a weaker version of Beastmen. This is an example of like a real Beastman, like a full Beastman, very chunky, a chunky boy. And so yeah, these are all painted by Mr. J, and I think he did a really great job. To be honest, I don't even remember him painting these models. I don't remember playing against him with this specific army, which is kind of funny. But I think he did a really great job painting them. Really cool stuff. And this would be a banner that he probably drew and painted himself. Very cool. The other thing that I was thinking about when I was looking at just this box alone was the care and attention that was paid to simply packaging these models. Look, each of these are sponges. You know, those like grocery store sponges. And then here, what looks to be even more sponges. And he did that to ensure that they wouldn't get scratched. And that's just the care and attention that went into that alone, I just find really awesome. And it's just kind of what's the word? I don't want to. It sounds like I'm making light of it, but there's something very precious about it. Like he took the time and care to make sure that these things would stand the test of time. They would, you know, that they wouldn't get dinged up and scratched. You know, this is something was really important to him, right? Let's kill this bot here. A bot, yeah. Let's kill the bot. Yeah, there's something really precious about that, I think. And here is a Beastman Shaman. And the base hasn't been painted, but this is a really beautiful sculpt. This is an amazing sculpt. And again, this is a very good paint job. Like, I think this is quite good. And yeah, you know, I may at some point repaint these, but I think that I'm fine with just leaving. I'm fine with just leaving them as is for now. And then we may come to a time where we're gonna kind of repaint them. But I want to honor. If I do that, my idea is to honor what had been done before. So I'm gonna like take a photo of this and then repaint it using a very similar color scheme. You know what I mean? We're gonna do something like that. But yeah, let's put these guys back. And this is just the first of many boxes, guys. So we're gonna get into this. Paper Joey, grocery store sponges. Looks like someone doesn't do dishes. Yeah. You know what? I have a hard time thinking of the actual terms and the words sometimes while I'm on stream. But yes, I'm actually the resident dishwasher in my household, so I should be familiar with that term. Bacon, repaint in the same color scheme and unintentionally flex on him. I guess. I don't know. I mean, I think that's a great way to honor what had been done before. And I'm also thinking, even with this, right? Like, I had shown these previously, right? These are from a thrift store find. And this is more Oldhammer. This is possibly even older than those. These are from something like the early 80s, I think. Early to mid 80s. I want to, again, kind of retain the colors and the theme, but just kind of repaint it. And according to Bacon, that's an unintentional flex. So okay, I'll tell you something straight off the bat. This box is empty, guys. I can tell. Look, it's empty, and I'm okay with that for two reasons. The first reason is I have this model. He gave this to me. Mr. J gave this to me before even just this whole entire exchange that I had received from yesterday. He gave me this model a long time ago, so I have this to this day, and it's painted. He painted it. If I have time, I'll go find it and we can show it off. But the second reason why I'm kind of okay with this box being empty, this is historic Warhammer, guys. This is historically known for being the ugliest Warhammer model of all time. What do you think? Do you agree? Is this the actual ugliest Warhammer model of all time? I don't think it looks that bad. Come on. It's goofy. It's goofy as hell, yes. Can we count how many skulls are on this model? There's actually far too many to count, because if you look at the staff here, those are all each individual sculpted skulls. And then in his little hat, there's more skulls. And then he's got a big skull here, and another skull on his chest, and another skull on the hilt of his sword. And then did I count that one? The bird. It's a bird, but it has a human skull. And then there's another skull there. There's a lot of skulls going on. There you go. Off to work I go, Bacon. Alright, thanks for stopping by, Bacon. And once again, thank you for holding on to this stuff. Thank you for holding on to this stuff for so long over the summer. Hopefully it wasn't too much of a problem for you. And I assure you, and I assure Mr. J, that they're in now highly appreciative hands. And we're going to get into this. We're going to paint some of these models over the winter. It's going to be a great time. Yeah, see? Nothing in here. This is how the models came. Night Trap looks like a cosplayer. That would be hilarious. Can we have a cosplaying Nagash? So, if anyone is interested, if anyone is really interested in seeing what Nagash looks like now in 2022, just fire up your browser and search Nagash, Age of Sigmar Nagash, and tell me what model looks better, this one or the new one. This one or the new one. Just look it up. You can do that. Okay, we're going to continue. That's box number 2. Let's look at number 3. Number 3 is not a box, but a tub. What is in tub container number 3? It's sand. It's a tub of sand. and there it is, guys. Look at that. Look at all that sand. It looks like kitty litter. I hope it's not kitty litter. I hope it's not used kitty litter. Let's put it that way. But yeah, like, again, our pal, Mr. J, he was homemade sand. I don't think it's homemade. I think this is probably from a hobby store that he just put it in this container. It's a lot easier to put your sand in a container like this, because if you're basing your models, like for example this, you just put some glue on the top of the base and then just do that, and then all the glue attaches, and then you just tap it off. But yeah, so he was getting out of the hobby, or he had this stuff. He's been out of the hobby for years and years, and he, like, not just the models, he was like, here, have some sand. But hey, you know what? I guess I need sand. I guess we got some sand, guys. Number 2. Sorry, this is container number 4 now. This is box number 4. Gorka Morka Harpoon Track Lance Harpoons. And Gorka Morka is a 40k spin-off game. So it's a game set within the 40k universe. But the rule set was different, and the theme was simply focused around orcs, space orcs on a stranded planet, and it was basically orcs mixed with Mad Max. And the box and the packaging is pretty badass. I love that. Now let's take a look. Let's take a look at what's inside. I don't know what's inside. I don't know if this is actually the miniature that's inside, but let's see. Beautiful old packaging here. This is the box for Warhammer 5th edition, Bretonnians versus Lizardmen. That was the first box set for Warhammer that I got. Very, very fun game. Played many games with Night Trap. He beat my ass many, many times. Okay, so no, this is not the Gorka Morka model kit inside here. We've got some wolves. And these look like the vampire count wolf models, werewolf models, because this is a metal head. I think this is a metal head. And then this is the original plastic head. I don't know, actually. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, some wolves. Some woofs. Some unpainted ones. And this one is all metal. And I've never seen this before. This guy's all metal and he looks really, really crazy. He looks wild. Looks kind of creepy. Very monstrous looking. Is this metal? Is this metal? I think this whole thing might be metal. It certainly feels very heavy. So we've got a total of 5 wolves. And let's see. This is a vampire count of some kind. And again, this is how it looks bare metal, and the quality of the metal looks really nice. I'm not seeing any oxidization or you know, like pitting, any kind of like metal rot on the model. It looks really, really nice. Really nicely detailed. Is he supposed to ride this? No, I don't think he's supposed to ride this. That doesn't seem right. But yeah, that's pretty sweet. And this is another vampire. I'm assuming that this shield goes on him. And this has been sprayed black. Really, really nice details. Fantastic stuff. Like all of just this alone is amazing. Just getting all of this, and yet there's still more, guys. We've still got a whole lot more. Here's a partially painted vampire. I don't know what they're called. Lamian vampire. Partially painted. This is a good subject to strip, because it's only been partially painted, or maybe even just paint on top of what's been done thus far. But this is, again, like, I'm really, really loving the detail of these models. Really great stuff. And here's a fully painted model. Another vampire. Oh, this is not a vampire. This is a dark elf, I believe. She's rather busty. Let's take a look here. The booba. Pretty good choice of colors, I'd say. We're seeing some damage here, some nicks and scratches to the metal parts. I think that this is a custom sword. I don't know if this is the original sword that belongs to this model. I'm not really sure. But yeah, all in all, pretty nice job. and you know what, like, so me and Mr. J was one of my earliest friends in the world of Warhammer. He was like, we kind of both discovered the hobby around the same time, but he had possibly like been in it for, like, he kind of knew about it or knew where to buy stuff. uh yeah, he had better knowledge about, like, about where to buy the kits and all of that. And so, yeah, we would talk about Warhammer all the time. But despite, like, you know, being in this hobby and talking about it all the time, I don't recall these. Well, admittedly, it's been a very long time, but I don't remember these miniatures. Like I remember going to his house, seeing all of this stuff, but I don't remember some of these miniatures, like, from his collection, you know? But yeah, it has been a while, so that would explain it. So let's, so yeah, that's another box down. Like, each one of these could be a good chunk of time in terms of building and painting and all of that. You know, like, if you really wanted to work on this stuff. All right, next one. This is empty. This box is empty. So I don't know if this model is actually in here or if it's somewhere else amidst the collection of stuff in the boxes. But this is another vampire counts model, or undead model. Necromancer on Manticore. And yeah, this is empty, pretty sure. Being Sage, would you follow or sub a Wholesome Gundam OnlyFans? Sage, I saw that you made one already. I saw it, dude. Purple linked me to that. That is very, very funny. What is it called? Like, Only Nubs or something? Oh my god. Yeah, he linked to it. It's not ready. I'm not ready yet. Don't look. Sage is like, don't look at me. I'm not ready. Kit's Gone Wild. There it is, everyone. Kit's Gone Wild. Okay, here we go. The next box. Zombie Regiment. We're seeing a very strong undead theme here with all of the stuff that we've been seeing. Up until very recently, this was still the current models kits for zombies. I think they've since put out new zombie models, but these were the ones that were the, you know, so-called current model kits. Despite the fact that they're quite old. Are these older than the last things? They're somewhat newer. The packaging is different. This would have represented a shift from Games Workshop going into plastic multi-part kits. So previously, the majority of Warhammer armies would have been in pewter, in metal, right? Big heavy metal armies, and they started to transition in this era. This would have been early 2000s, getting into more multi-part plastic kits. But I don't know if that's what's in here, by the way. I'm going to take a look. Okay, we're seeing a whole lot of different stuff. This is the base. You would put your guys on a little base, right? And let's do that now. So these are indeed the models from this set, and they're partially painted. He did not do all of them. And yeah, these are all the zombies, the zombos. Let's get them all arranged. As much as he's painted, at least. It looks like he was painting each one individually, and he wasn't really kind of doing a batch painting technique. You know, you kind of have to find ways of you know, doing the army painting process quickly, and a way of doing that is painting them in batches and kind of uniformly coloring them. As you can see, he was kind of like making one like a blue shirt, and then a green shirt, and then a yellow shirt. He has this one here with like all these arrows stuck inside of him and then blood coming out. Which is actually pretty funny, right? Again, like, isn't this clearly the work of a teenage boy, right? Got a lot of blood on the hands on this one. I would say that the paint job here is actually quite good. This is the musician, so in Warhammer, the units would have a champion, like a leader of the unit, and a standard bearer, as well as a musician. And if we could focus... Yeah, this is the musician. See, he's banging on like a drum with a foot, with a severed foot. And yep, there's a whole lot more here, unbuilt. So, a bunch more parts for the zombies. So you can make a whole lot more here. He only did this much, but yeah, that's how they would look when you put them on the movement tray. And these days, Warhammer, there's no longer Warhammer Fantasy. It kind of turned into Warhammer Age of Sigmar, and those are played on round bases, and it looks more like 40k. But the old game of Warhammer Fantasy was played on square bases, like this. And supposedly, we're going to come back to the days of square bases. We're coming back to Warhammer Fantasy, supposedly. These are pretty cool, giant bats. And this is all metal. That's a big chunky boy. Got two of them. I don't even know if you can field just simply two giant bats in Warhammer 5th edition or 6th edition. But these are big and they're heavy, which was the style of the time. Now let's just put these guys back. Zombies. Some zombos. Oops, there's more stuff here. Zombie Regiment. I'm pretty sure that Night Trap also has zombies, unless he's sold them. I don't know. But yeah, between these two, if he has his older ones, that's a whole lot of zombies. Okay, we're getting close to the end, guys. There's 4 more containers left. Space Marine Scouts. Space Marines! These are amazing models. The sculptor for them and the concept artist for them is Jess Goodwin. And he still works at Games Workshop to this day. He's sort of like... He's the guy that kind of comes up with the designs for many armies in Warhammer 40k, including the Space Marines and the Eldar and others. But he brings a reality to Warhammer that is just very important, you know. And again, these models are quite old, but something about them, you know, they still look really cool, in my opinion. They still look really neat. I don't know if that's what's in here, guys. So let's take a look. Carmi! It's Carmi! Talk show. I was saying how Carmi, it's like whenever she appears, it's like a sitcom. It's like a sitcom, and it's like, that's so Carmi. Last time on That's So Carmi. How's it going, Carmi? You're neat? I'm neat? You're neat. But today we're looking at some models that were given to me by a friend, a longtime friend from way back in the day, and he got in touch with me after many years. No, you! After many years. And he was like, listen, like, you're still into Warhammer. I've been checking out your Instagram, checking out your YouTube channel. Do you want all of my old Warhammer stuff? You can have it all. And I was like, dude, are you super serial? He was like, yeah, I'm super serial. So here we are, and we've been looking at them. But I don't know if you were here previously, Carmi. If you're gonna hang around, I can show you it in a bit. I did pick up some model kits when I was in town yesterday. I can show that, but let's take a look at what's inside here. So it's not the Space Marine Scouts. Oh wow, this is awesome. This is a Space Wolf Cleric. And again, these aren't painted by me. These are painted by my friend, who we're going to call Mr. J. And he did a pretty good job, but this model kit is a Space Marine, a Space Wolf Cleric. And look, he's got like a wolf helmet. A wolf helmet? Very cool. Let me change the music here. Now let's just loop it back. It's a Space Wolf. Okay, let's carry on. Here's more Space Wolves. Some have bases, some have arms, some do not. Invalidus. What's up, Invalidus? These are old. Yeah, these are old. Probably older than you. Yeah. Yeah, baby. Yeah, some of them are missing arms. So these... Well, the base here says 1992, but the model itself may have been casted and created much earlier. See, well, this one here says 1997, but these aren't the models in the box. Not really, man, but they're old. Yeah, 92. Around that time. Somewhere in the 90s at least, because the base would have been created separately from the actual model itself. But they're old and they're all metal. This thing here is all metal. It's a metal chunky boy. Look at that. He painted all the blood on the sword. And yeah, some extra bits. This model is not from Warhammer. This is from, I think it's from a different game called Warzone. Nice face. Hey, nice face you got there, pal. This is from another game, although it looks quite similar. Night Trap, look at the tab on the bottom. Invalidus, is this my work? No. This is from a friend of mine. Sorry, I didn't explain it, but these are from my childhood friend. He was a friend from when we were kids, and he got in touch with me over the summer, and he was like, hey, I see that you're still into Warhammer. Do you want all of my Warhammer stuff for free? I was like, yes. Yes. Okay, 1992. This is from 92, yeah. These would have been all about 92. They're Night Trap. So you're right. The tab. So the tab and the base were the same. But this is sweet. No hesitation. No hezi. I got the zero hezi. Yes, this is sweet. There's several more boxes. Well, not several, but there's a couple more boxes that we have to go through, guys. We're getting close to the end, but not fully the end. How are you, Carmi, by the way? Sorry if I didn't ask just yet. Hope you're doing well. Okay, this is like a troll at this point. Like, okay, I've been very, very impressed. I've been very, very thankful for all of the things that have been provided to me by my friend. And again, this is all free, and it's just really, really cool to get all this stuff from him. One of the earlier things that I looked at was this. Look, it's a tub full of sand. And it's like, yeah, I could use that. It's sand, you know, for basing purposes. You know, not a big deal. Cool. One tub of sand. A little weird. I don't need it, but hey, that's cool. And as I have been going through all of this stuff, I was like, what is this? And it is more sand. I hate sand. You guys got that ready? I hate sand. It gets everywhere. It's more coarse. If I could like pick up a single granule of this sand and hold it up to the camera, it is far more coarse than the other box Tupperware of sand, which was more. I like sand. It gets everywhere, and I kind of love it. Carmi, I'm doing okay. I only had 2 hours of sleep because I just couldn't sleep. Took a nap during lunch break. Oh, could it be related to playing Baldur's Gate last night? Was somebody playing video games last night? Invalidus. This is nice pure sand. Good for diorama. Yeah, it would be good for a diorama. Good for basing and stuff, right? I mean, do I need that much sand? I don't know, but hey. Okay, this is the second to last. No, sorry, this is the third last container. So let's peep what's inside. Quality Street chocolates. What if it's actually chocolate? I wouldn't say no to chocolate. Although this is like from like his old stash, so it'd be old chocolate. Holy crap. Holy crap. This is a lot of stuff, guys. Oh, look. Wait, is the face here? Oh, look at that. It's the Manticore. The box from earlier that I couldn't, that was empty. Right here. That's the Manticore. Oh, this is badass, dude. This thing is huge. Holy shit. This is all metal too, by the way, guys. This is all pure pewter. So he's a hefty boy. This whole container is a hefty, chunky boy. Oh boy. This is sweet. This is gonna be a very fun thing to paint as well. We're gonna strip it and repaint it. Carmi. Now we played, but not too late. I just couldn't get myself to sleep. Yeah, I know you've been saying you've been having some issues with sleeping, Carmi. Hopefully you can kind of figure something out, because, you know, we've been harping on you for that, but, like, you know, in the long run, definitely want to get your rest. Do you have any techniques? Anyone have techniques to help go to sleep for Carmi? Drop them in the comments below. Here is a... Yeah, Carmi, all metal it is. This one is not metal. This is plastic. This is a Land Raider. And if you've played Warhammer 40k Dawn of War, you'd be familiar with that. And this is a nice kit. This is a nice little kit. Lots of great details. Pretty sweet. The Land Raider. There's the riders. It's simply their legs. You got to put their torsos on there. I'll find that. It's probably in here somewhere. Carmi, daylight savings time did not help. Oh yeah. Daylight savings time. So weird. You know, some places in Canada have abandoned daylight savings time, and other places still go by daylight savings time. So it's this really weird thing where some people will basically, depending on your time zone, become like 1 hour away. If they used to be 1 hour away in terms of time zone, now they're suddenly 2 hours away. It's very unusual. Okay, let's just lay out all this stuff, because there's a lot of stuff in here. Let's just try and organize it in some way, because there's a lot. Oh, this is the banner. This is oh dude, he did such a good job. Look at that. This is the banner for the guy. Look at that. And he painted this all by hand. That is sick. Dude. I don't even want to do anything to that. I'm going to leave that as it is, because he did a great job on that. Okay, we're just going to lay these guys out. It's a lot here. This is wild, though. I feel like I'm going through time. I'm traveling through time looking at all... Oh, I remember this! I remember this. Again, these are models from my childhood friend who got in touch with me, you know, this past summer, many years later, and he was like, do you want this stuff? I remember going to his house and seeing this model on display, like, at his cabinet, and thinking this was so awesome. It's a dwarf, and he's biting a chain between his mouth, and then the chain is, like, linked between the sword and the axe, and he's, like, half naked, and he's got a barrel of beer on his back. I remember this model. Wow, what a trip down memory lane. And this one too. This would have been in the same pack. Look at this fat little dwarf. Look how cute he is. I love this guy. It's so good. Look at him. Aww. I remember these. I remember. Remember, Simba, remember. Good times, good times. I'm a very simple person, guys. Very simple person to please. You know, just give me some little tiny metal models, and I'll have a good time. There's a lot here. We're gonna just try and find all the goodies, all the really pertinent, interesting stuff. Chaos. It's a smattering of things, very random. Okay. The rest of this doesn't look too important, but let's take a look. This is a Dark Elf Cold One Rider. It's a giant dinosaur, like, well, you know, about the size, I don't want to say giant, it's like the size of a horse, and there's a model that can ride it. I don't think I can find the proper model for it, but, you know, you'd have something riding it like that. Whoo, this is a very primitive paint job. And it looks like he used tester enamel paint. This looks like enamel. It has that shiny kind of paint job to it. And this would have been one of his earlier paint jobs. He definitely got a lot better over time. But yeah, this is a very early paint job of his. And a very good subject to strip. Another model that we could strip and do a better job on. Oh yeah, this guy rides this. This is an amethyst wizard for Warhammer. I have this model in my own collection. This is Teclis, the most powerful wizard. The most powerful wizard in all of Warhammer. And in the new setting of Age of Sigmar, this elf, he's a high elf, he basically has ascended into godhood. He's now a god. And this is another thing I was saying earlier, guys. If you're interested, you could take a look at the old Nagash model and look at how the new Nagash model looks. This is another model where this would have been from the 90s or something. Teclis, and the character still exists today in Age of Sigmar, and he's a god now. So if you ever look up, if you want, just look up Age of Sigmar Teclis, Teclis, and you can see how the new Teclis looks. It's quite the glow up. I'll say that, but it's quite the glow up. A troll. I have a couple of these in my own collection, so now I have another troll for my goblins. This is a wood elf wizard, and this looks like a very old model as well. Wood elf wizard with a bird. Very cool. What else do we have here? These go as a pair. Scarsnake and Gobla. This is a very powerful goblin wizard in the lore. And he has a giant squig. These big balls of muscle and teeth, they're called squigs. He has a squig that goes with him. Space Marine with a jetpack, jump pack. This is quite an old miniature. I'm gonna say this is from the 80s. Some of the ones that we've been looking at were from the 90s. This would have been from the 80s. Very old miniature, very, very cool. And again, this is a great model, a great candidate to strip and paint up to like a modern standard. I think it would be very fun to try that. Gene Stealers. Gene Stealers are always cool. Or no, this isn't the Gene Stealer. What is this? Is it the Gene Stealer? I don't know. It's from the Tyranids at least. A Hormagon? I don't know. Dark Angels. Dark Angel Space Marine. Chaos Space Marine. No arms. Another Chaos Space Marine. This is another model from the 80s, back when Citadel was Marauder miniatures. I think this would have been a Marauder miniature, and I think this is either a high elf or a wood elf, or maybe they didn't even have that kind of distinction before. And this guy here, this is Techless. You know, there's all this lore behind these characters too, like in army books and books and stuff like that. This is Techless, and this is his brother, Tyrion. Tyrion and Techless. And yeah, the reason why he has this weird crotch situation is that you mount him on a horse. This isn't the actual horse, but you know, you mount him on a horse like that. His sword is missing. I think I know where he cut off the sword and put it onto another model. But yeah, I have both of these miniatures in my own collection because they're just super cool. So now I have 2 of those. This is a slightly, you know, ever so slightly more modern miniature. It's probably from the late 90s to early 2000s. It's from Gorka Morka. We were looking at the box for that earlier. Gorka Morka being a Mad Max. It's Mad Max with orcs. So yeah, and they have these smaller bases because they're intended to go on top of vehicles and stuff like that. And yeah, I enjoy the sculpts on these. The sculptor for these miniatures, his name is Brian Nelson. I used to remember all the names of the sculptors. Those guys were like rock stars to me. They were like comic artists or illustrators, you know, like they were creating amazing, beautiful stuff. So many of the painters from Games Workshop, the painters and sculptors, I remember their names, and you know, still to this day, Jess Goodwin, Brian Nelson, Mike McVeigh, all of those names, Dave Taylor, so many great artists that worked on at Games Workshop. Let's put these away for now. That was a lot. This was a lot, even just in this little tin in itself. I'm gonna have to take some photos of these things, which is gonna take some time. I'm gonna have to document all of this stuff. Very cool. Whew, that's a lot. Heavy too. Holy crap, this is a heavy box. Oh man. Okay, the last 2. We're on the last 2 here, guys. What is in here? Oh, Night Trap, are you here? Night Trap, are you still in the chat? This is for you. This is yours, pal. This is yours. Look. Look at this. Look at this. It's not sand. Dude. Dogs of War. The Birdman of Katrazah. Is that what they're called? The Dogs of War unit? So, a little background on this for you guys. In Warhammer 5th edition, we're presently, well, I don't know what the numbering goes, but basically it's been a long time since Warhammer 5th edition, but they had an army called Dogs of War, which were effectively just mercenaries. They're mercenaries who can fight for other armies. So you can have these guys fight for chaos. You can have these guys fight for orcs. You can have these guys fight, or rather with orcs, elves, blah blah blah. And these, and so Night Trap has a huge army of Dogs of War, but he does not have these guys, the Birdmen. This guy doesn't have his crossbow. It's here loose, but yeah. That is a beautiful find, dude. I remember playing against these guys when I battled your friend. Oh, really? These very same ones, Night Trap? That's crazy. And look and now they're yours. Isn't that crazy? So they're actually taped to the base with like double-sided tape. I'm not really sure how he did it. I don't really want to mess around with it. But he actually did a really great job painting these guys. I think he did a pretty fine job. It's up to you, Night Trap, if you want to strip them. But holy crap, that is a find. Night Trap is now the owner of an amazing Dogs of War army. He already had a remarkable Dogs of War army, but now with the inclusion of this, that's nice. That's a spicy meatball. This might be actually, at least in my opinion, the find of the set of like what we've received here. This might be the best thing. I was telling you, Night Trap, there's something in here for you. I didn't tell you. I don't think I told you what it was, but that's what it is. Wow. That's a good one, guys. Dogs of War. Shit. Okay, this is actually the last one. Are we gonna get sand? What is it, guys? This is the last thing in the box. It's amazing, all these candy things. Like, how many of them were candy boxes? What do you think? Is it sand, guys? I hate sand. Oh, okay. This is just random stuff. Oh, actually? Is this sand? Yeah, it's sand. There's at least one little container filled with sand. What else we got here? Just some random stuff. Just some random tools. Toothpicks, awesome. Got some toothpicks. Extra plastic bits, like extra hands. I don't want to open this up, but yeah, there's hands and guns to your heart's content. Backpacks, swords, various kinds of weapons. I see a power fist. So yeah, a lot of different stuff in here. This looks like to be little extra stuff for a board game that came with White Dwarf magazine. More backpacks and poles, chain swords, and more backpacks and swords and shoulder blades. So yeah, that's it, guys. That was a lot of stuff. That was a lot. That was a lot to go through, and it was really fun looking at all of this stuff. A little trip through memory lane. Let's put this out here as I kind of wrap up my thoughts on getting all of this stuff. Let's look at the Birdmen again, because they're like so cool. I'm just, really thankful for my friend to he checked out my YouTube channel, he checked out my my Instagram, he saw that I was still in the hobby, and I was like, hey, I think you'd appreciate this stuff, because they're just, he's a grown man, he's adulting, he has like a family and stuff. I'm still underdeveloped. My brain is still like appreciative of little bird guys, little metal figures of bird guys. And yeah, this is great stuff. So thanks again to Mr. J for giving me this stuff. He said that I think you'll appreciate it. Because really they're just kind of sitting around in his house, in his place, but I'll appreciate it more. And you know what? He was right. Even this alone, I'm underdeveloped too, Carmi. Underdeveloped gang. So